And we're in Chester. I mean, look at the sky. Why do I have on this coat? Because look at the sky. It's spring in the UK and you never know what is gonna happen. So I think we should go explore. I mean, just look at this place. Look at all the little ducks and the little boats.
Located at the border between northern Wales and England, Chester holds some of the most beautiful medieval architecture left in the UK. On top of that, it hosts one of the UK's biggest intact Roman walls. This city has so much to offer. Let's explore!
Check out these little canal boats, you guys. This is super cool. I like these two dogs. Doggy captain, go doggy go, go doggy go. So recently, Chester made the UK news. Now this town is pretty tiny and I don't know if everyone's heard of it. Why did it make the news? Well, in the UK and in the world, Chester has one of the most preserved, intact Roman city walls surrounding the city. And you see these walls were kind of falling apart. And so basically the mayor of Chester was asking for a grant of £50,000 to help restore the walls. So we're gonna go check out the walls and see what was there. Because the Romans were here, and as we walk around, we're gonna learn a little bit more. Now sometimes I do research before I do these things, and today I didn't because I've been sick. So let's go take a walk and check out all of these walls. So these walls were built around 100 AD. Yeah, not long ago. See, long ago the Romans wanted to expand their empire and basically conquer the world. And this was part of the world. So they came all the way up here. Why up here? I mean, the Romans were from the Italian peninsula. Why did they come up here where it's such a different climate and like really cold back then? Because of something to the left of where we're at in Wales. And in Wales, we'll discover a little bit more. But the thing about Chester is there was water here. See, we're at this intersection of where some seas intersect with some rivers. And just look how green this is. Water was key for the Roman Empire to establish and stay strong. We're now walking on one of the best preserved parts of the walls. Now check out how high we are and how low that is below. Hello down there. Okay, so one thing to note about how high we are right now is to just imagine how high these walls must have been in the Roman times. See, as the thousands of years passed from when these walls were built in 100 AD to now, there was a bunch of stuff that came in and cities were just built on top of cities on top of cities. So think how tall and how impressive this must have been. Now this little river creek thingy has a name, and I don't know the exact name, but one thing that's really cool about it is that when the city of Chester was building this creek, they found the actual old little Roman moat down there. And what they found as they studied the little Roman moat and all sorts of stuff in the bricks is that the sand down there was literally the location of where the Sahara Desert is today, which is pretty cool. And this was like 250 million years ago. So it's had a while to move. Because you know, things that last forever take a long time to move. So over time, we had to expand the creek a little bit in order so it could float some boats and just be another mode of transportation around here. Now so far, I'm finding these walls very well preserved. I'm not entirely sure where that 50,000 pounds is gonna go to, but we're gonna find out. So it appears that there's a direction you should walk these walls in, and I'm not doing it properly. Everyone on these walls is going on clockwise direction, and I'm going counterclockwise because I didn't know there was a rule. So if you come to Chester walk the walls in a clockwise direction with everybody else. Okay, check this out. It's pretty. We reached another tower. Check it out. We should go see what's up here. So this is King Charles Tower. Now, not to be confused with that King Charles. This is like the OG King Charles. So in the 17th century, he had this tower commissioned. And then after that, it kind of fell to ruin because no one wanted to pay taxes to keep it up. So today we have a puerta. That's not abierto, but there's a really cute ladybug. Hi, little guy. And we have a really nice overlook of the walls, which are very teeny tiny, and everywhere else. So, why are the walls so teeny tiny here? I will tell you after I get down these very treacherous stairs, which it looks like have been the victim of party time. So why are the walls so tiny here? You see, in Toledo, they were much bigger, and Londonderry, they were huge. Well, whenever the Romans came into England, they kind of captured it. There wasn't that massive iron and weaponry here to keep them away in this part of England. So these are kind of more like just a classic Roman wall. There was no need for multiple layers of thickness to defend against the baddies. That happened up north, which at some point we'll go see later. Okay, I don't know what type of flower this is, but I love these flower trees. They're just like this massive ice cream flower. They're everywhere and they make my nose run, but they're really cool. And they sit, there's loads of them here that sit right next to the Chester, which we'll see. We'll see if there's intrigue. Today's a Sunday. So we'll go explore. So in front of me, with what I'm staring at right now, is this thing. So this cathedral was built around 900 AD. Why is that year important? Well, as we know, there was the dude who went up to Scotland to convert all of the Picts to Christianity. Along with that, there was all sorts of other monks and saints that came into England to help convert the entire paganism into this. So this church, because it's built inside the castle walls, has been extremely preserved for over like 1,000 years, 2,000 years, many years. So we're gonna go check it out. Okay, let's go inside. I see a puerta that's abierto. So from 1250, this church has been in reconstruction, has just been rebuilding. It's pretty epic. Like all of this stuff here, this is all stone. It's like 1,000 years old. Check out how immaculate this is.
All along the side of this cathedral, there were the most beautiful mosaics. Now, these were elaborately decorated and the tiles had been so well restored. I won't nerd out too much on mosaic art with you guys, but just take a look and appreciate this. They're all from old Bible stories, and I mean, look at the detail. It's so cool. And of course, you know, there's all sorts of dead people that are buried in here, and different priests and various Bible figures and church figures. And then here we're entering the choir, and this is where the choir members sing. And I can only imagine that during church times, this must be glorious with these huge roofs and all of these people and this choir singing. Now, I'm sure you've noticed a bunch of similarities in this church as we have in Catholic churches. And no, it's not Catholic. You see, Henry VIII got pissed off at the Pope because the Pope wouldn't let him divorce his wife. So basically, Henry VIII was like, dude, I'm making my own church. So what they had to do was convert all of the churches in England to be the Church of England. So there's a lot of architecture and there's a lot of similarities with the Church of England to Catholicism, but it's not the same. So similar but different, just because Henry VIII wanted to have a bunch of wives that he kept getting bored with and killing. So that's why you see a lot of similarities in here. Okay, we're now in the chapel of the Lady of the Cathedral, and she was one of the people who helped to found the cathedral in the 7th century AD. So this is pretty old. I mean, if you consider it old. I mean, just check this out. There's this massive stone idol built in the middle. And check out the marble on the floor. So a lot of this marble came from nearby. I guess the granite came from nearby, up in the Peak District. Look at that window. So you see these colors in the pillars? These come from the colors of the saints of the different part of the UK. So that's where you get the red and the blue. Okay, let's go keep looking. And then I continued to explore more around the cathedral and just appreciate what had been here since like 700 AD. I mean, this is older than so many things in the world.
So in front of us, we see a clock that was built in Miss Queen Victoria's time. Up at the top, we see the emblem just saying VR. Why does it say just VR? Well, as we learned many weeks ago back in Scotland, Mr. Prince Albert was not living at this time. So they were just putting her little monogram on everything. This is pretty. So if you wonder what Chester looks like inside the walls, it's this. So I'm still looking for where the restoration of these walls would go to. And the reason I say that is because the walls in Londonderry are much more in need of restoration than these ones. We'll find it, I guarantee. Now, Roman city wouldn't be complete without a sauna. Sauna. Pillars next to sauna. Okay, so I found out what the money is for these walls. So Chester has done an exceptionally good job about restoring the walls. When they fall apart over time. And so what they're asking for is money to help just like keep them up to date, like this. So walking the walls is one of like the top 2 things to do in Chester. The other top thing, I guess it would be just the top thing. I mean, who wouldn't want to walk this? Right now, we're next to the River Dee. You can see it's been dammed a little bit, so there can be a little bit more river activities at the river. Okay, so in 1066, this dude from Normandy named William decided to come and conquer the world. And for him at the time, the world was England. It's like he ripped a page out of the Romans book. So William the Conqueror in 1066 came up here and built kind of what we see behind us. Now it's been reconstructed since then, but this is the old castle where he kind of chilled out and reigned out of. Now it took a couple hundred years to kick the Normans out, but after they were kicked out, whenever they left, the Normans created this thing called the Doomsday Book. Now what the Doomsday Book was a list of like literally every location, every address in all of England. And basically they were like, fine, you have us now, but we're coming back for you. And the thing about that that's really key is like, that was basically the first census that was done. And it was done as a threat. Like this first census in England. Maybe the Romans did one too. But here, we consider it the first one. So, I was going to want to go to the castle, But the castle's only open by volunteers, and because William the Conqueror is not demanding people to work there, no volunteers today. So we're just gonna go and wander a variety of streets. Okay, we've entered the walkable part of town. So it's all closed off to traffic in the daytime, and then in the not daytime, these pillars drop to let all of the trucks and stuff through to populate the shops. So, let's go explore. Now, one thing that I really like about this town is that it's just like British tourists here. It's not like London where everyone comes here. This is really cool. Now check this building out. If you're touring the UK and you're from North America and you tour outside of London, make sure to walk on your left-hand side. Now, while in London, it's just like good luck if you don't run into someone. Everywhere else, it's a little bit more organized, so walk on the left. Things that are out. It reminds me like we're back in Aberdeen. So I'm reading this book called Liber Novus by Carl Jung. If you've read the book, you understand those photos. If you don't know the book, then just ignore it. And from below, the clock looks equally as impressive. Let's get closer. So this is one of the gates that you can enter the city with, on foot or on a car, if you're a car that's behind me. Oops. Sorry, car. I have Carl Jung in my head, and he takes preference over your noise. Okay, let's go finish wandering down this city. That kind of looks like it's a mix of, so far, the city looks like it's a mix of something from the Middle Ages. It looks a little bit something kind of like northern Viking architecture. That we'd see in some old parts of Sweden or Norway. And like that they've kept like all of the statues and stuff in this building. It's a pretty awesome building. Okay, so I was gonna go and see if there's a port because I'll be right there to get into the old Debenhams department store. But check this out. I see some stairs that are up here though. And we're going up. I wonder where we're going. Is it to get a tattoo? It's definitely not to smoke. Where are we going? You guys, check this out. Isn't this cool? Look, we're in a tiny little hallway. Well, this was unexpected. Ooh. I hope blue's in this year. It'd be nice to have it back. Cool. The botanist. Okay, if you come here, go there, because they have cool doors. Check out this lock. This one's better than the ones we saw in Toronto. Square. Focus. Square. Old English. There's been some amazing restoration. This little place was started in the 17th century. Probably like a bunch of the other stuff around here. But today modern day stores live in. Let's continue exploring. There's all sorts lots of activities going on here today. There's magicians, there's shopping, there's drinking. Okay, so I just learned something super cool. So, lore has it, maybe truth, maybe not, but if the Romans were able to capture Scotland, which they were unable to, then they were planning on making Chester like even a bigger center of their whole. Oh, what's a large dog on the floor? Dog on the floor. Of their whole entire empire up here, which I think is pretty cool, and like strategically within the entirety of the British island. Massive strategic point to have a huge fortress and a huge city around here, because it's about equidistant from anywhere you can get in the country. It also has a seaport, unlike London. It also has so many access to natural resources, which teaser we'll learn a little bit more about when we go into Wales. So much cool stuff up here. So, tacos. You guys, maybe we need tacos. Maybe not. It's quite a lot of people at tacos. This is a cute little, I'm gonna guess, an old church that's been turned into a bar because it says the Guild Bar. My powers of perception aren't always right, but I think in this case it's pretty accurate. It's pretty cool. Bar. Okay, so I was trying to find a grocery store around here, and on the Google there appeared this thing that sits in front of us, Chester Market. So we're gonna go see what it is. Maybe I'll be able to do my shopping here. Oh, this is cool. And that was one of my favorite places. Okay, so what you can't smell is how good it smells in here. It's pretty nice. There's all sorts of stuff. So there's like items around the edge of the market. Like you can get some glasses, you can get something for your dog, and then in the middle, that's where it's food for humans. So I like that you can feed your eyes, you can feed your dog, you can feed your mouth.